first and foremost, we all know that like most people who, unless you've been living on for rock, obviously 2020 has been really bad, and we've been kind of like dealing with COVID-19, Kobe Bryant dying, all sorts of things, like just terrible things have happened, and then obviously George Floyd, which was probably the biggest eye-opening racial tragedy for a while, and then obviously with Breonna Taylor as well. I don't know where the George Floyd case is. I kind of just like read a couple things, but I didn't see anything saying. I think they are yet to go to trial on that. But I think the alarming thing is that obviously with the George Floyd situation, I think they're prosecuted, or at least the cops are being prosecuted. Whether or not they are found guilty or whatever, we'll find out. But in this Breonna Taylor situation, the cops are not being prosecuted. And I see a lot of pictures on Instagram stuff that people were saying the cops are not being prosecuted more so for the bullets they missed instead of the bullets that were actually I don't even want to say the word successful, the bullets that obviously hit. I think my question in this situation, also we know America's fucked up, so there's no point in even diving into that. But does the $12 million that her family and her mom got paid kind of like kill off any chance of finding any level of prosecution against the cops?
No, they didn't take the money. It would still be the same thing. Like, yeah. It would still be the exact same charges, right?
Right.
So them taking the money is kind of irrelevant to getting justice, because justice should be done regardless of if they were offered a penny or if they were offered like $1 billion. So yeah, I feel like it would have just been the exact same thing. I'm not surprised that they're not being charged for any type of murder, whether that's second degree murder or whatever they call it, manslaughter or whatever. I'm not surprised that they're not getting charged for that. It's the exact same thing that I said to you guys with the George Floyd stuff that happened.
I don't think they're gonna charge them for that either. I'm not gonna lie. I think maybe the cop who had his knee on his neck will get something. I think the rest of them are all gonna get acquitted.
Yeah. I think
the guy who had his knee on his neck is gonna be like negligence or like manslaughter. He'll get like 8 years or something, and that'd be that. And he'll be out in 4.
I don't think he'll even get something like that. It'll be something like technical, like it'll be like, oh, the way that he did it was over excessive, but it's not. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like not. Like, obviously, that's sort of manslaughter, but I'm not surprised, man. Unfortunately, being black, you're not surprised about these things that happen.
Yeah,
you're not surprised about the injustice that happens. Just not shocked to be. I wasn't shocked when everyone was saying, "Oh yeah, they for Breonna Taylor, nothing happened." I wasn't surprised.
No, I wasn't surprised either. I think, and this is where I think black people might call me Uncle Tom, but I don't care. This is where I feel like our stamina for these type of situations is not good enough. I don't think we last long in the battle. I think it's like we fight for a bit. Say again?
Would that be the opposite of an Uncle Tom? Because you're saying you're saying people aren't more militant.
But I'm saying that like maybe people might be looking at me like, who are you to point the finger at me for not posting more about Breonna Taylor? You know what I'm trying to say? Like maybe I'm being, I don't know, whatever the terminology would be. But I feel like we live in an age where social media might not have the same. It might not make much of a difference, but we know that in certain circles, social media does make a big difference. To pressure on companies, pressure on organizations, things of that nature. I feel like us as people, not so much me and yourself, because I mean, if you know me, you follow me on Twitter or whatever. I mean, not on Twitter, on Instagram more so. You see a lot of, I post a lot of things on my story when it comes to these injustices, and I feel like it's all good posting a black towel one day, but then like now we see posts saying like, because it's not being posted or trending, Black lives still matter. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not enough. I think we need to have more stamina in these battles in order to get the message across. I feel like if the pressure was the same as day one when the unfortunate Breonna Taylor situation has happened, and the injustice has happened in that situation, if the pressure was the same from day one as it was when they got ready to bring charges or whatever charge they put against these police, they would have felt nothing but pressure to charge them with murder. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, and it's the same thing with George Floyd. I feel like if the pressure is just not the same, you know what I'm saying? You're not destroying the cities anymore. And I'm not trying to cite riots or applaud people for rioting or looting or whatever. But what I am saying is that if you fight the same way throughout the whole situation, then surely by the time we get to the point where they actually do start to bring charges, they have to feel the power and the weight of the people and say, look, man, y'all just gonna have to fall on this sword because we can't not charge you. Imagine we don't charge you. Imagine what happens to the city if we don't charge you.
Yeah, but it was a grand jury, right? So
yeah,
I don't know more. Like, I guess like if people were outside like protesting and marching, they might have come to a different conclusion. But then at the same time, do I want people to be forced into making the decision that they aren't going to make anyway? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like if you're not going to do it the right way the first time, I shouldn't have to like put you in a situation to do it that way.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like a jury. You don't want them to feel like sort of pressured into that situation. I'm not saying the jury made the right decision because I know they didn't. Right?
They didn't, yeah.
But then I think you go down the slippery slope of like pressurizing people to
into decisions they don't even want to make those decisions.
Exactly. Yeah, I think, and the whole point is that there needs to be like better understanding at the very start, rather than people having to go out there and like protest for something that's quite obvious. Do you know what I mean? They went to the wrong house, right?
Yeah.
And then they went into a state that you're allowed to have a gun, right?
Yeah.
You're allowed to protect your home, right? They came in, didn't knock,
just banged the door open, and then shots are fired.
Yeah. What are you going to expect? It's a ticking time bomb. Do you know what I mean?
Well, first of all, it's not like you did in the daytime. And here's the thing: I think like a lot of people who are out there will probably be saying like, "Oh, you know, they identified themselves, you know, or whatever." But this doesn't. I'm from the hood. Okay, I'm sure. I'm not saying Breonna Taylor lived in the hood or she was ghetto, and I'm not saying any of that. But I'm saying I'm sure she didn't live in the Hamptons. Let's say that, right? I've been at my grandmother's house where the police knocked on the door. You know what I'm saying? And if it's a police knock or a pleasant knock, it's the police open up. Every black person in America, and I'm sure over here, knows when the police are at their door. They know how the police knock. They know what it sounds like, know what it looks like, right? That's how I know they failed to identify themselves as police, because her boyfriend actually fired a shot that hit a cop in the leg.
Yeah.
I think he said he let off 8 rounds or 9 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. Unless he's just crazy, who just fired shots at the cops?
Yeah, that's like a mad situation, especially when
you know how America is.
Yeah, you know how America is. Especially nowadays with the video footage that we have. It's not just like hearsay of people saying, "Oh yeah, the police came to my door."
Mm-hmm.
With that as well, is that he knows that, if he did know the cops were coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably put it in the video of when people came to J. Cole's house. I know this is like I'm now completely going off topic a bit.
No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, bro. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Look at that footage, right? If you know the police are coming to your house, right, and you're an ethnic person, you expect that level of police at your house.
Yeah.
So therefore, what would he have gained, right? Full well knowing that that's the police.
They were coming and then shooting at them.
Yeah, and there's like 10 of them. Come on, like it's just not like. Come on, people just wouldn't do that. You must have thought that there was only 1 or 2 people coming in to
trying to break in or something. Yeah.
It's obvious.
And I think the thing is, especially in America, and I think over here too, because in Britain, because obviously the police don't carry guns over here, like just for certain things or whatever, and it's armed response instead of there being cops openly carrying guns on the streets. But if they're gonna raid your house, obviously they don't want to give you warning, like, oh, it's the police, open up. But you have to make yourself known in that situation, I would have guessed. Like you're not, unless it's like a known drug house, and you're thinking, I want to make sure we catch all these guys, and you know for a fact they're like doing something illegal. You know what I'm saying? First of all, it's wrong house. Secondly, you're just kicking in the door. From the time that you realized and I'm not saying that all cops are bad, but you're putting yourself in a volatile situation because you're kicking the door open. Somebody's firing guns at you. You're going to fire back, obviously. But you're going to fire at the person, surely. You're not going to put bullets in the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like you can't help but look at some of these situations and say, oh, it's execution. Because, how else are you supposed? I'm sure this is not police training. A lot of the times when you see a lot of these things happen, that's not police training. You don't put your knee on the guy's neck. You don't just shoot into a room. You know what I'm saying? You have to declare who you are so the people don't, and when you see it in movies, okay, fair enough, movies might not be the best representation of this, but they always tell you it's the police. You just kick open the door and start firing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I feel so bad for her mom and stuff like that. I saw some stuff online, people saying, well, they got 12 million. That money don't bring people back. I do feel like that. I feel like the unfortunate thing in America is that 12 million helped the grand jury say, well, they got 12 million. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that sounds fucked up, but I just know how America kind of works. So it's like, oh, but they got 12 million, so they should be all right now.
I feel like if they got, like I said before, if they got no money, they would have.
Oh no, it would have made it easier for them not to, maybe the conscience side of it. It would have made it easier for them to say, yeah, we're still gonna make the same decision, but it's an easier decision. But I think with the money, like the money is like almost like a sign of guilt, but at the same time, it's like, but we can still not prosecute these guys for murder. Yeah. Like these things, like this is murder. It's like, you killed this girl, unfortunately, in the most disgusting way, and then you get away with it. And this just breathes more of that energy into America in terms of like these people, these cops and these people, these Karens and all these things, where you continue to do these things and you're going to get away with it. Mm-hmm. I've seen videos since, the George Floyd situation where they're arresting black children and they're saying, yeah, police officer will grab them and say, yeah, resist, I want you to. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, whoa, like these are children. You know what I'm saying? This is black children. It's not like you're dealing with like a grown man or something. And you're telling him, yeah, resist, I want you to, while you got your hand on your gun. Unfortunately, there was I forgot his name, literally just skipped my head, but the man who got shot fatally 7 times in the back, not fatally, he actually survived and he's paralyzed. I can't wait to hear his story.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they'll probably silence him too with another 12 million or 15 million or whatever it is.
Do we need to get to that stage then where maybe instead of going down the route of prosecuting people for murder, we just say, if you murder, not we, but there's legislation, like if the police murder someone and it's unlawful,
we're just paying out.
Yeah. I'm like, so you get automatically like 40 million, right? So eventually they're going to start looking at their bills, and I'm sorry, this is just the way that the world works. Start looking at their bills and be like, oh shit.
Yeah, we're paying too much money out, guys. You got to stop shooting people.
400 million in the last 2 days. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's one of the ways to sort of go around it.
Hit them where it hurts. Hit the pockets. I think the problem is that I don't put value. I put more value in life than I'll ever put on money. But at the same time, you're right. What stage do we get to where we actually start to think this is about life. This isn't about, and this is about ending racism, which I don't think is possible, but at least eradicating it in most situations, especially places like the police department.
I think there's a big difference between, well, obviously this is part of racism, but it's like extreme, right? But there's a big difference in my mind between calling someone an N-word or whatever it is and killing someone. Do you know what I mean?
Like, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? 100%. I know that's so obvious to say, but we need to get to the point where at least people aren't getting killed. Like, let's just start that first and foremost. You can call me whatever you want to call me,
but just don't kill me. Don't shoot me. Ahmaud Arbery. You know what I'm saying? This is like, and people don't even talk about him. Elijah McCann. People don't even talk about him. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of cases, Ahmaud Arbery happened like 2 months before we even heard about it. Elijah McCann was like last year. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by, and I guess I'll end on this. That's what I mean by stamina of our people, because the fight's not over until you get results. You don't go into a war and give up when you conquer one side of the war. You know what I mean? I said this to my girlfriend last night, and I believe it to be true. I think LGBTQ is way stronger than Black Lives Matter in terms of getting things done and achieving things. I read a thing today where a woman got arrested for taking 200 grand, black woman, 200 grand in Black Lives Matter donations and spending it on things that she wanted. You know, we don't care beyond a certain point, and we have to, and I'm not saying we like as in me and you, because we're having this conversation, but for the most part, the majority of us do not care past a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's like, okay, well, it's going to happen again, so who gives a crap? It's just another day. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, to end it, to stop it, we're going to have to, it sounds terrible for me, some of us are going to have to die, some of us are going to have to, go over the hill and see if they're really serious, and then they're going to start shooting at us. We got to come back and warn everybody what's going on over there. Someone's got to sacrifice, because the fight's not ever going to be over. I mean, you got Donald Trump politicking to black people saying, I'm going to name the KKK and this organization, terrorist organizations, if I'm reelected. And black people will jump on that. Like, oh yeah, finally, instead of thinking, no, you need to go. We can fight for that after you're gone. Like, we don't need that from you. You know what I'm saying? But we don't, it's almost like we like sound bites and clickbait. We don't like the fight. And that's what bothers me. I think we don't continue to fight past a couple of weeks. Our stamina runs out. I remember, and this is literally the last thing I'm going to say. I remember when LGBTQ was fighting for the rights to gay marriage. Even if they had an issue between them, they were fighting for that one thing, which was the equality for them to be able to be legally married. Black people will not come together for, like, we'll argue amongst each other before we actually, like, if me and you have an issue, we'd rather argue that issue out instead of fight for the equality of our people first. We can argue after, but we don't care about that. We're going to argue now about our problems. I'm fighting you more than I'm fighting the problem.
I think I've said this before. Do you think then we need a leader? Because it's almost as if we need to concentrate on just three things. Just everyone just agree on the three things, the three laws, whether in America, whether in the UK.
I think worldwide, yeah, 100%.
Whatever you need, just the three things that we need to concentrate, that we need to, short-term goals, right, that are going to achieve something, not the long-term goal, because everyone knows what the long-term goal is.
Right.
But it's like, how do we get to that long-term goal? Obviously, we need shorter goals.
Right.
Days, and can we all just agree and be on the same page as to what we need and what we want?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. And when you say leaders, I agree to a degree, but here's the thing. I don't know if you ever heard of, and I don't really want to give this woman shine. I think she's an idiot, but have you ever heard of Candace Owens? So she's kind of like, I don't want to say what she is, because I don't want to get it wrong. But when I hear her speak, that's exactly what I'm talking about, and exactly what you just said in terms of, let's set some goals and reach those goals and keep moving forward. Here's a person who's talking against, but at the same time talking for black people, and it's a misconstrued message. And there are some that agree and some that don't. Instead of us, the thing is, I don't care what your views is on the black father in the home. I don't care what your views on the statistics and numbers. We should only be fighting for equality of our people. And once that's done, we can fix our communities. But we need the equality for our people first. And that battle is not just within, that battle's outside. So we need to go outside and fight that battle, so that everybody accepts us and stops killing us, and we don't have to tell people Black Lives Matter. Not Black Lives Matter against any other life. Black Lives Matter just period. Like, we should matter just as much as everybody else. Then once we've achieved that goal, we can come back inside and say, all right, guys, black fathers need to be more responsible. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why in society there's a thing called black on black crime that's just irrelevant, because crime is crime. But they much rather talk about that and get us to argue amongst each other, which is so easy for us to do, than talk about the issues of the George Floyd or these things. That's why in the media, when these things happen, oh, George Floyd, it was a criminal. He's been to prison before, X, Y, and Z. And that's terrible. You're tarnishing somebody because you don't want to live up to the fact that racism and white supremacy is actually a real thing. So when you say leader, to answer that question, it'd be lovely to have Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X, a modern day Malcolm X, people like that. But black people tore them down too. I think in some cases is contradictory of what I just said, but at the same time, it's like, I think there's so many problems, you can't actually just focus on a thing, because I know a celebrity, it's not very relevant to this, but Meg Thee Stallion unfortunately was shot by Tory Lanez on some nut shit. Whatever happened, I wasn't there, didn't see it, whatever. But it's disgusting if it's the way that she broke it down. And I know in the time that she was recovering and she was posting things on Instagram, and Beyonce, I think, had sent her some stuff, and Rihanna had sent her some stuff, and she posted it. And I saw nothing but black women in the comments ripping the fact that she's posting stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, you just got shot. Why are you posting a card? It's just like, oh my God, like. But then 2 days later, you got John Boyega, whatever, not 2 days later, but you got months before, you had John Boyega in the park screaming out how we have to protect black women. And most of those women were probably agreeing with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird to me. It's weird to me. It's very weird to me. And I feel so bad for the future, and I feel bad for Breonna Taylor's family and the fact they're not getting justice. And I will feel the same way if nothing happens in the same vein for George Floyd. And I hope we can put pressure on for Elijah McCann, and we can put pressure on for that other gentleman. I forgot his name right now, but the guy got shot in the back 7 times. It's I don't see an end to how this is going to happen unless we all come together and have the stamina to fight beyond 2 weeks, and really put pressure on the government to make these changes. The KKK should have been a terrorist organization 30 years ago, 50 years ago. Now somebody's using it as a ploy to be reelected as president. So they don't even respect our intelligence. So, we have to do it ourselves. But as usual, this is Birdlines, and like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And if you want to engage in these conversations, obviously, hit us up on Bits Media on Instagram, and get in the comments or DM us or whatever, and we can have these conversations, even maybe bring some people on and give their opinions as well. So but yeah, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully through this we can keep the conversation going for other people.